What's up? How you doing? When I was a kid, there was a major recession going on. A lot of people had lost their jobs, and used to be a lot of kids playing in the neighborhood. But then, I guess when their parents lost their jobs, they became sad themselves, so nobody was out playing anymore. It became like a ghost town. And I remember one Saturday morning I got up, went downstairs, and I noticed there was a huge plywood box somebody had made and put on the sidewalk in the middle of the road there. So I went close to it, and there was a sign that said, if you're a kid in this neighborhood, take an index card and write what you want and you shall receive it. So I go, my birthday's coming up. I like to have a tricycle. So I went upstairs, I got an index card, and I got my Parker pen, and I wrote down a tricycle from Lechmere's, and I described it. I thought it was like a joke, but I put the information in the box, and time went by, and it was my birthday, and my parents had gotten me a gift. So I opened it up. Basically what they got me was 2 boxes of cereal, my favorite cereals, Alpha-Bits and Honeycomb with the big bite. I said thanks. So, you know, we lived in a house like this, and my room was on the side here, and in the back we had a porch. So I went down to the backyard. When I opened up the door and the porch, there was a box. I got close to the box, and it was a tricycle. Somebody dropped off a tricycle. And then we found out that every kid in the neighborhood got a gift that filled out the card, but nobody knew who it was. It was like a mystery guy or a woman. So we never found out. But everybody, you know, became happy, and it was kind of like a turning point. Right after that, the recession started to die off, and people started to get hired again. Anyway, I used to hang around at the railroad tracks when I was a kid. It's like my favorite place. And at the end of the railroad tracks, in a certain section, was a forest. And it was like a bunch of homeless people living there, and they had a couple of barrels, and they would throw lumber in there, and they would have a fire going. And one time I was sitting at the wall, and I'm looking across, and there was no homeless guys around. I guess they went out somewhere. And I noticed an old guy with a trench coat walking, and he had a bag from a grocery store, and he went in there, and he puts the bag in the middle, and he walks away. Didn't say anything to anybody. I was watching him. I go, I know that guy. He lives near my house. So one day, about a month after that, I saw him walking around, and I approached him, and we started talking. And I go, I see you all the time. I go, you're always walking around this neighborhood. He goes, yeah, I never got my driver's license. He goes, I walk, keeps me in shape. He said he was 90. I go, wow, you're old. So that was the last time, you know, that I had talked to him. Then I became a little bit older, and I'm in the backyard. A few years later, I'm raking leaves, and I could smell smoke. I go, something's burning. So I look around, and I see a, you know, cloud of smoke, and I go, I'm gonna go investigate, see what's going on. So I go up, and it was like a little hill, and I notice a little house was on fire. And I was the first one to arrive, but then moments later the fire department came, and they came out with the hoses. They put the fire out. They went inside, and they brought somebody out badly burned. And I look, I go, that's that old guy. The old guy was taken to the hospital, and he ended up dying 2 days later. So we didn't think anything after that, you know. We didn't know him. Nobody really knew him. Then they went into the basement to see how the fire started, and the basement was okay, nothing burned down there, and they found receipts. This guy was the guy that got everybody the gifts during the recession when I was a kid, and apparently he took a mortgage out on his home, and he bought everybody a gift in my neighborhood, every kid a gift, and he was paying it off. By the time he had died, he had already paid it off, but that's how we found out who it was. Because of the fire, and the fire department went to investigate, and they found all these receipts, and then they told us about it, and they reported it was on TV and everything. So anyway, that's what happened when I was a kid during the recession. Nice guy.